All right, good morning, guys. Back in with another NFL DFS video for week 14. That sounded disgusting. I feel like football has moved by way too fast. Last week was brutal. If the only thing I'll say in terms of why it was brutal is we stacked the Saints with Derek Carr, Chris Olave, Jawan Johnson. Obviously, pass defense for Detroit isn't that great. We played Breeze Hall, Javonte Williams, who were bots, didn't really do anything. St. Brown scored, but only got 11. Olave kind of got there, just didn't score. We played Tyreek Hill, and everyone and their mother played Zach Moss. And he was obviously chalk and just did not perform. I think that was a pretty good recap, but do you have anything else from last week?
It was tilting from like the very first play. Carr hit Juwan Johnson right in the hands for like 5 yards, went out of his mitts, picked off, and then the Lions went up 21-0, and I was like, okay. So we're pretty much screwed. Yeah, Carr looked pretty abysmal. Hall, I didn't even really like Hall, but the Optos just kept spinning him. It was a low total game. I knew to not go there, and I still did. Williams got vultured at the one from Russ, QB sneak. Olave was out the two twice. And Jawan Johnson had like 6 targets and no catches, which is somehow possible. But yeah, that was about it. Not a fun weekend.
Let's just jump into this new week. Hopefully, we can make something happen. So, we're just going to go position by position and give our thoughts. So, we got Josh Allen and Mahomes and what should be the game of the day. Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson, Fields, Herbert Stroud, Lawrence Goff. Everyone's here. I pretty much think I just went over everyone that was kind of possible. But what's standing out to you right now? Because I think there's a couple decent options to get to.
Yeah, usually I look more in the mid tier for quarterback. It's just kind of where I've been landing recently. But this week, I think I want to pay up, stay over that Herbert type range. Obviously, like you said, that Allen Mahomes game is going to be pretty great. Highest total on the slate. Then going Lee Mahomes, harder to stack because I mean the KC receivers is absolutely a mess. I mean, obviously you could pay up for Kelsey. I haven't seen his price yet, but if Taylor's in attendance, then we know his stat line is going to be like 9 for 120 and two. Um, Purdy had a ceiling game last week, 10.5 point favorites, I guess, but at his price, I think I'd rather just play the other stud QBs. Lamar obviously play full touchdown favorites at home. Decent matchup. I think I like Fields the most of everybody so far. He's easy to stack. Moore and Komet are pretty fairly priced this week, I saw. Good run backs as well for Detroit. And I feel like Fields, if he does have a ceiling games, it's usually at home and they're coming off a bye. So I do like Fields a good bit. Herbert, if the offense just clicks once from 1 week, he's going to get you at least 25. I like him at 7,800. Usually he's over 8K. Stroud, who everyone in the mother's been playing for the last 4 weeks, I think it's time hot top off just because of the total of 33. Not very enticing game environment. Trevor, same thing, 32 total for that game. I'm off there. Goff, he's looked kind of meh the last couple weeks. I think I'd just rather pay the extra couple $100 for Herbert or Fields playing at home. Wilson, no thanks. Dobbs, no thanks. Like this whole range is just pretty bad. I mean, I guess you can maybe look at Jameis at 66 against Carolina, but even there, you'd be really pressing your luck. And Browning, I guess they are favored, 2 point favorites, 44 total, which is pretty decent for that game. So I can see Browning maybe getting you like 18, which is kind of what you're looking for, 3x ish value. That's about it.
Yeah, there isn't really much on my end to add. I like Lamar in this spot if he's playing. Um, Fields, I'm always going to say yes to. Before we started recording, you kind of were getting me on the Herbert train considering his salary. This sounds dumb, but like that last game against the Patriots, I was kind of because I'm a Herbert guy, and then when I was periodically watching that game, like both offenses couldn't do anything. That's why I'm kind of not leaning towards Herbert, but I mean, could just be like a one-off, like bad game, whatever. If I had to lean either one of these, I would probably do Mahomes as well. Purdy, I guess. That offense is so dynamic, though. He can just throw checkdowns for like 40 yards. So, I mean, if he has that game that he had against Philly last week, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. Um, if I had to rank them, truth be told, I'd probably go Mahomes, Fields. I'd probably do, yeah, Mahomes, Fields, Herbert, Lamar.
Yeah, I got
J
the same four, just a little bit of different order, but it's all very close. That's probably where I would be looking for single entries. One of those four guys.
I don't know. Jameis at 66 is kind of interesting, I won't lie. Oh, shit. Let's move on to running backs. So we got McCaffrey, Kamara, Kyron Williams, ETN if he plays, Jacobs, Montgomery, Eckler. That price tag is insane to me. Rashad White, Mixon, Robinson, Pacheco, Gibbs. We'll just go down the list. So what's standing out right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably want a piece of Sanford in. They're pretty big home dogs. I mean, favorites. 47-point total as well. But CMC at 10.5 is crazy. That is a crazy price tag. He has to get you 30, which I mean, I guess I haven't seen the value on this slate, so who really knows if you can fit him? I'm gonna try to. It'll be difficult with the high price quarterbacks though. Kamara, decent spot. Uh, you know, Panthers aren't very good at anything, so don't mind him. And Jameis probably checks it down a good bit this week. Williams, no thanks. Taylor obviously out. What's Moss's price now? I'm curious. What if they still price? Yeah, 6.8. I wonder if people go back to him this week with the raised price tag. We'll see. ETN, I didn't know he was questionable. I wonder if he's going to play. Uh, Jacobs, not really in play for me. I like Montgomery. It's also, revenge factor type game, so kind of interesting. Eckler at 7.5. That is crazy. Like I know his usage really hasn't been there the last couple weeks, but the Chargers offense just really hasn't been there the last couple weeks. So if you're not playing Herbert, I think Eckler is a pretty good play. At 7.5. He's usually like 9K. So and a pretty good matchup. White, I just never play. I don't think he's really all that good. Besides, I mean, he's a great reception back, but he averages like 3 yards carry. I'm good on White. Mixon, sure. Bijan, yeah, 7.1. He was like 8K last week, I think. So pretty decreased price tag for like no reason. Pacheco, sure. Gibbs, I mean, him and Monty are like the same play every week. You just have to hope you land on the right guy. I guess if you want to take the discount, you can play. Moss, like I said, who knows? I got to see where ownership's at. And I mean, who carved up Cincy? Oh, it was Singletary who ran for like 120 and a touchdown a couple weeks ago. So Moss could be in play. Chuba's getting pretty good workload, not the greatest matchup. and probably trailing in that game. Not my favorite play. Javante, who I tend to land on like every week, he's just so mid, and I'll probably land there again. We'll see. Cook, eh. Edwards, eh. Hmm. Don't really want Hall in that low total game. Same with Ford. I don't really know what to make of the Bears running back situation. Do you have any insight on that? I have no idea who I'd lean there.
So I don't know with Herbert being back, but when Herbert was out, Foreman obviously got a lot of carries and played a lot. I think they're gonna try to like split carries, and it's gonna be one of those things like who's more productive. Oh, it's Foreman, then Foreman's gonna get more touches, I think. I think they're gonna try to use Herbert a little more just because, he's back from IR, but
What about Roshan? I think he was the leader in touches last week or the week before. I can't remember. But that trifecta at running back, I just never know who really to pick. But it's not the worst matchup in the world.
yeah, he got the ball, 5 receptions, 5 targets. Yeah, he didn't play too bad. I don't know what to make of him. Like Bears Twitter goes crazy over him, and I don't know. I'm assuming some of those people actually watch football more than me, or Bears football more than me sometimes. Um, yeah, there's really nothing else here, right?
We haven't had
He's
Jarek McKinnon a week in a while, so I
Yeah,
mean,
he's been a healthy scratch, which is kind of interesting.
it's just funny because last year it happened like 4 weeks in a row, and I was like, why am I, why do I keep fading this guy?
Yeah,
Uh,
we would play like Pacheco or Edwards Hilaire, and then it's like third and goal, and it's like a dump off to him, and he scores. I
no
don't
one's
really have,
here, which is frustrating, except for Eckler, maybe.
yeah, I don't have too much. I know kind of a shit matchup for Williams. Kamara's gonna get a lot of touches, whether it's receptions or runs. 10-5 for McCaffrey is insane. Monty, revenge factor. Last time he played the Bears, he scored 2 touchdowns. I like Eckler at his price. Will he actually make it worth it? Who knows? Rashad White has been pretty decent recently, scoring. It's just a matter of Atlanta's defense is like solid, but I mean, I guess you never, when they get down to the 1 yard line, they almost always hand it off to White. So they get down at the 1 or the 2, he's getting the ball. Mixon, sure. Bijan, sure. Depends if Arthur Smith decides to play him at all. Zach Moss, I mean, I think he's almost kind of gonna be a lock. That price tag is just a little egregious, but obviously no Taylor. Hubbard had a game last week where he scored 2 touchdowns, unless I don't know. I don't mind this spot, but I wrote down Gus Edwards too. I mean, yeah, he's been kind of okay. Yeah, maybe not.
The
I
touches
don't
just
mind.
there at that price. I don't think.
Yeah,
Does
no.
fall names out a lot, but
It's like the same thing they do with Gibbs and Montgomery. It's like Gibbs would get some touches, run a good chunk of yards, third and goal at the 1 yard line. They give it to Monty. Um, Brees Hall said he's playing. We're gonna say right now we're not gonna play him, but then we're gonna play him.
yeah,
He's just he's just wasting his time on the Jets. I think he just needs to come to the Bears. There really isn't too much. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I know Walker and Charbonnet did not practice, I think, the other day. Oh, limited practice. Were they both limited? That's just something to keep an eye on, whether if Kenneth Walker is going to be back. Yeah, they were both limited. But then against San Fran, I don't know. This is just interesting.
Hopefully, there's
All
more guys
right.
here.
Yeah. So wide receiver, we got the return of Justin Jefferson. He's been out almost a whole damn season. Keenan Allen, Diggs, Evans, St. Brown, Pittman on the rise. Michael Pittman more than Jamar Chase. That's interesting. Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Puka. The list just goes on and on. So, what's your take on wide receivers this week?
Yeah, I usually don't like Keenan at this price tag, but I do like Herbert, so he would be my pairing. Diggs just really hasn't been there this year. I mean, should be a really competitive environment, and maybe they're trailing, so he could get increased target share, but 8-7, I'd rather just find 100 for Keenan, I think. Evans has been just an absolute monster. I think he's had touchdowns in like 6 straight weeks or something. He's in play. Monreal's always in play. Pittman, God, 8K. I mean, the target share has been there. Pull up his log. Like, he's getting peppered. So I get it. But yeah, he would be pretty highly ranked for me, I guess. Just the target share is crazy. Chase, Browning looks confident again. You know, Chase is probably a decent play at 7-9, usually like a 9K guy. Collins, that game total just scares me at 33. I'm probably off. More decent play with Fields, Ayuk, sure. Puka and Cup, probably off here. I just feel like the Ravens kind of command this game. Not much Rams offensively. Just screams like 31-10 Ravens or something. Olave, meh, with Jameis. Debo, same thing as Ayuk. Probably lean Ayuk for the 200. Adams, I mean, that is a low price tag for him, but again, this year with O'Connell, it's just like, eh. Metcalf had a ceiling game last week. Of course, I benched him in like half my leagues. What an idiot I am. Uh, he's okay. Sun's a pretty good run back, I think, for that Charger stack. He almost connected for like another 50-yard touchdown that Stingley made like a crazy interception of. So I could see him having a decent day. Ridley, no thanks. Myers, no thanks. Davis, I guess. If you're stacking Allen, probably want to double stack him. So if you want to play Davis or Kincaid as your secondary stack, I wouldn't fault you for that. Wilson, no thanks. Low total, and that offense just sucks. Lockett, sure. Thielen, sure. Every week I always land on Zay, and he just never does anything. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can keep him in the player pool. Maybe Rashi Rice. He's had an increase in targets like the last couple weeks. T's pretty cheap, 6'3", I will say. Uh, Downs, Noah Brown. I mean, no, I think that total sucks, but any 6K, probably. I'd rather just play Downs. Judy at 5'8" is pretty damn cheap for his talent. I mean, when is he ever gonna just hit for once? He just never does anything. This guy was like the best receiver coming out of college. Doesn't do anything. Quinn Johnson, something's wrong up here. He like gets it and he's like, nah, I don't want it. It's crazy. Uh, Nothing really. I mean, JSN's still pretty cheap, I guess. Seattle probably gets their doors blown off. Don't you dare pull up Mooney. Just not it. Uh, that's about it. I mean, I don't think there's much else. I'd have to look more at the entry report to see like flyer plays, but seems pretty condensed to that like mid 7 to mid 8 range, and then maybe paint it for like Keenan or something.
Yeah, I don't want to say there isn't much, meaning there isn't much else to get to. The top five I wrote down were Allen, Ayuk, Diggs, St. Brown, Chase. Nico Collins has been on the rise recently, and especially with no Tank Dell the rest of the season, this is good. I love DJ Moore um, playing against Detroit, and when there was a crazy, like I saw his his stats, like when Fields plays, he had 16 fantasy points last week and then 9. So this is the game I went to against Minnesota. Just look at the fantasy points. He had 3 touchdowns that one game, and then had a decent game or pretty good game against Denver. So I mean, Moore is a pretty solid option for this week. And then with Detroit's defense just being average at best, this is a good spot for Moore. If the Bears offense just stops running wide receiver screens and then they hit more downfield, Moore can put up like 50. Yeah, I'm off Cup and Puka. Ayuk's good. The issue that I have with Vegas is Aiden O'Connell going to throw the ball to Adams or Jacoby Myers? You remember like the first half of this season, it was all Myers. That's what I'm eerie about. Metcalf, if he's still standing on business, sure. I wrote down Sutton as well. He's been pretty solid. I mean, like 1 touchdown, no touchdown against Cleveland, but then I mean, he's been pretty even, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 29 yards, still scored. You just kind of hope he has games like this where 6 targets, 6 receptions, 76 and a touchdown. You just kind of pray for those. Not a terrible option. I like Flowers, but like you said, we play him, he doesn't do anything. Rice, kind of like you said, he's kind of been up there recently. Um, I trust Kelsey over him, obviously, but I mean, great second option. Noah Brown has popped off a few games this season, whatever games he's been active. And kind of like I was saying too, no Tank Dell. I guess if you want to be very different, go with Judy, go with Downs, don't go with Mr. Butterfingers. That's about it. Drake London, I guess, if Ritter decides to throw the ball. Yeah, there's really not much else there. All right, tight end, we have Mr. Swift, Hawkinson, Laporta, Taysom Hill, Kittle. I think Schultz got ruled out. Oh, maybe not. Kincaid, Ingram, Cole Kmet. Um, I have an interesting tight end actually, but I want to hear your thoughts on tight ends first.
Yeah, I mean, I never really get to Kelsey when he's over 8K, but in this spot, I feel like that game is due to just pop off. So I feel like he's a pretty good option at 8K regardless. Hawk's okay. Laporta has been nuts. Uh, what a pickup for the Lions he's been. But you know, with him absolutely exploding last week, maybe it's like a Mon-Ra this week or the running backs. Who knows? Probably would prioritize Hawk or Kelsey over Laporta in the same range. Taysom Hill, I mean, it's just not the price for him at 7K for his usage, his route rate. It's just not there. Kittle's okay. Schultz is all right. 6K. I wish he was like mid fives. Kincaid's okay. Secondary piece if you're stacking Allen. Ingram, I'm off. Komet, good secondary piece if you're double stacking Fields. I mean, I'm starting likely in a few season long leagues, but I don't really expect much out of him. Like 8 fantasy points. So at 5K, don't really love that. Brevin Jordan had a pretty good route share last week. You know, 5 targets is straight at 5K. Maybe he falls in the end zone for you. He's okay. You know, Flyers down here, like you're just hoping for touchdowns between like Otten, Parham, Tanner Hudson, Kyle Granson had an okay week last week. I don't really know what that was all about, but and is Jawan Johnson going to sit? Does that mean Taysom's going to run full routes? I have no idea, but not much else down here. I mean, Tynan's pretty dead.
I was gonna say with tight end, it's either you pay up for Kelsey, Hack, or Laporta. So my like kind of other flyer plays, I was gonna say likely or Everett. You know, you got 5,200 with obviously no Andrews. With Everett, the thing is he gets a lot more targets than people think. And who did they play? What was that primetime game? I think it was
Ravens.
the Ravens, yeah. Everett was so low owned and scored. So Herbert likes to target him a lot. You can get him at 51 and then, you know, spend up more at running back or receiver. That's kind of why I like him. I thought I saw something that said Schultz was out, but if that's actually the case, then Brevin Jordan is obviously a better play, saves you an extra 100. If you got the money to go up to any of these four guys, definitely go for it. I was kind of last weekend I was bored at work, so I started making lineups and I could not get away from Taysom Hill. I don't, dude, there's always something with Taysom Hill. It's insane. But it kind of looks like we might maybe have to play him depending on Jawan Johnson. I mean, we played him last week and look what he did, but um do you want to go over defense? Do you have any hot take on defense?
I mean, we could just take a look at the pricing, I guess.
San Fran at the top, no shock.
Texans at 4,800 is crazy.
I mean, when you're going up against Zach Wilson,
Yeah, but I mean, they just don't really do all that much. Keep going. Let's see. I mean, Saints D's okay at 43.
I was even gonna say like Tampa or even Atlanta, truth be told.
Vikings D's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't play anyone below below Denver probably.
And for the record, this is all just flyer stuff. It's kind of just looking at the prices to help you with quarterback, running back, wide receiver. So
Mhm.
don't think that we have a lot of insight. It's just matchup and then pricing. I would say it's more pricing, but
Yeah.
you kind of just hope for a pick six or a safety. Actually, besides just the standard 10 points that you get.
Yep. And
But
you definitely don't want your defense to go negative. That is the key. But
I
yeah,
was I was about to say something I totally forgot.
I mean, I would have liked the Texans defense a little bit, but 4,800 is pretty steep for them. I
No,
mean,
for
I did
sure.
say I kind of like the Ravens a good bit in that matchup, so maybe the Ravens at like mid fours. They've been pretty good all year
Hmm.
playing at home.
But they should just about do it though. Is there anything else that we missed?
I don't think so. Just a good first look at the slate. Should be a pretty interesting weekend. Hopefully, better than last weekend. That was pretty gross. Some better totals as well. A lot of mid 40s rather than like high 30s. Should be a good NFL weekend, I think.